You're welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you're doing wrong that is making your bread not to last, your bread to crystallize, to get strong after 2 days. Stick to the end of this video because the fourth one will blow your mind. It's something that people are neglecting but actually creating negative impact on your bread. And I'm going to take time to explain them one by one. Now, the first one is improper mixing. When you do not know how to mix and you just pour in everything, and within 5-7 minutes or 10 minutes you remove the dough and you think you have done the mixing well, brother or sister, check well, you have not mixed. Mixing is one thing that can actually help you to have a good bread, loaf of bread, or destroy everything that you have done. And you think that what is it that you'll be thinking, what is it that I did wrong? My recipe is bad. No, your recipe is not bad. Just calm down and mix properly. Number 2 is the quantity of butter. Now, due to the high cost of raw materials in bread baking, some persons have you reduce the quantity of butter to the lowest. That can destroy your product, because butter, egg, and vegetable oil use. These 3 things are binding agents. They hold all things together and make the bread to be one. So when the quantity of butter is too low, it leads to bread crystallization. Bread crystallization is when your bread gets strong, becomes strong after 2 days, and probably scatter. So if you want a good loaf, please allow the spirit of baking to use you, and try and increase the quantity of butter. Give the required quantity. There is a required quantity, and there is a quantity that is like lavish for you to have high quality bread. Maybe you want people to feel that the butter is here. You can lavish like that. But for those of you that are supplying to roadsides and other channels, you just need the required quantity. Now, if you find out that the required quantity always lead to high cost, then give 80% and use vegetable oil as a supplement. That will still give you good result. Now, the third thing I'm going to reveal to you that actually destroy bread is the baking temperature. Now, some of you use ice to mix, and the ice cool down the dough. Now, when it eventually rises to the quantity you want, you take it to the oven. Remember, the dough is very cold. Now, when you increase the temperature maybe to 180, 120, because you've heard from people that baking temperature is 180 to 2 something, and then you increase the temperature like that, the external part of the bread will be baked, and then the internal, due to the cold, the heat will not be transmitted the same way, and so the external part will be well baked, the internal part will not be properly baked. That creates a separation between the external and the internal part of the bread. This can lead to bread crystallization and bread spoilage eventually. So you have to know the baking temperature if you use ice, the baking temperature when you do not use ice. And every oven behave differently. My oven behave differently from your oven, even if it's the same product, even if it's the same brand. Let me use that, yes, the right word, the same brand or the same company that produce these our ovens. My oven will still have a different, slight different behavior. And so you don't just go to somebody's bakery or watch on YouTube and see the way this person is using this temperature and come and apply it. No. Now, the temperature in gas oven is always higher, fast, compared to electric oven. And the temperature of charcoal oven is always also high. So you have to know that these ovens do not work the same way. And so what you need to do is not just to apply what you read in a book or what you hear me say, just like that temperature is 180. You go and put it. Now, it may be reading 180 on the thermometer, external thermometer that is there, but the inside may be 280, the inside may be 220. And so what you need to do is, when you bake the first time and observe that this it does not give you the result. Next baking, you should either reduce it or increase it depending on the result you saw. So is you use your own experience, your own, what you are seeing, what the oven is giving you is what you will use to decide the temperature you will be using to bake your bread. So don't just turn on the oven, preheat it to a certain temperature that you don't even care. Some of you that pay bakers to handle your bakery, some of them don't care. They load the dough and then close the oven and go to smoke and come back after 20 minutes, and then they are bringing out bread, and you see that one part is brown, one part is white, the middle is trying to be dark, the lower part or the bottom of the bread is mixed like different colors like that, and then you bake Joseph coat of many colors as bread, and you think that customers will buy. No. So the baking temperature can actually affect your bread, the quality of your bread. Please help me to reach more persons by liking this video, share and drop your comment. I really need your comment. I really need your ideas, your suggestions. The fourth one is something that most of you don't expect, and you have been spending money and you have been wasting. You are even spending money to make that thing work for you, not knowing that it's spoiling your bread. And the thing is fan. When you bring out your bread from the oven, don't just put on the fan. Have you observed that if you wash clothes and you want your clothes to dry fast, you just put on fan and face the cloth or hang it close to the fan? It will dry within 30 minutes, if not less. Have you asked? The fan dehydrates. So when you put on fan and face your bread, it dehydrates. It will remove both the oil, the water, and leave only shaft. And your bread automatically become crystallized. And when it happens like that way, you will think that your recipe is not right, or your mixing is not right, or your baking temperature was bad. No, just put off your fan. The fifth thing we are going to look at is improper use of preservative. Some of you don't even know the quantity required for that preservative for a certain quantity that you want to bake. Let's assume that you are baking a quarter bag, that is maybe 12.5 kg, and that you do not know what is the quantity of that particular preservative you are using, because there are different brands everywhere. So that particular preservative, like let me use the calcium propionate. Now, even the calcium propionate, there are different brands. So the brand you are using, what is the required quantity that you should measure and add to your mixing? You don't know. So you just, because somebody wrote recipe for you and said preservative 100 grams, you go there, measure the gram from a different brand that said preservative should be 7 grams or 5 grams or 50 grams. So before you put in all your recipe, you need to check the brand, check the sachet, carefully read the sachet, so as to know what is required. Some persons, even when they know that this one, they say we should use 100 grams, you think that when you lavish it, the bread will last longer. Or if they said 100 grams and you put 150 or 200, the bread will last longer. No, use the required quantity and use the required baking system and step. You see that your bread will last better and will always be better. There are loaves of bread that after the first day, the second day, the bread become good, nice and sweeter. Second day, third day, the bread become nice and sweeter. And the bread remain like that even when it's getting spoiled. So you don't just lavish your preservative. You have to know the required quantity for so kg of flour and use it accordingly. That way you have a better result. Now, if you want us to visit your bakery and train your workers, you can call us, we do that for you. Or you want to undergo training online, we can also drill you very well, give you the required things you need online, just as you are watching me now. If you want to visit our bakery also to see what we do and how we do and how our bread tastes like and the equipment and how we control it, we also allow people to do, but you pay, so contact us and we will help you. Thank you. See you in our next video. Bye bye.